日本ニュースタイムへようこそ。
Okay, hello guys, it's Victor for the gimmeabreakman channel, JNEWS. Now, a lot of people are always looking for reasons to label WTF on Japan. Oh, Japan's so weird, right? And I gotta admit, there's a lot of weird stuff you see here, you know, a lot of sick stuff, but that stuff happens everywhere in the world. However, tonight I'm gonna come down on the side of weird, because this is one of the strangest news stories I've ever come across. And it's so complicated, I think, that maybe this although this like broke like a week ago or so, or let's see, Sunday, I haven't seen anything in the English media about it. I've been looking, because it's so complicated that even watching the news in Japanese, I was like, what? Huh? Who? I don't get it. So I finally sat down and read. It's easier to read the article than actually watch the news. It's just so complicated and a lot of vocabulary I've never seen before. However, what I've done is read an article, and I've gone through and translated it loosely, and I'm going to go through it right now. I'll tell you this, one of the strangest stories ever. Okay, so there's a place called Amagasaki River. Amagasaki City. I'm already getting screwed up. And they found 3 bodies under the floorboards. Okay, of a residence, right? So they dug it up under the floorboards, and they found these 3 bodies buried. And they suspect this woman, this woman, 64-year-old woman, 64 years old, right? Named Miyoko Sumida, okay? And she's suspected in the robberies, disappearances, held against her will, murder of over 8 people now. Right? And according to the police, with a complete disregard for life, she beat them. Well, first, she kind of kept them captive in their own homes, and she would have them beat. She didn't do this herself, though. She would have them beat, and then she would have them killed. And, of course, she would steal their money. And her connection to all these people in these crimes is very intricate, very confusing. Some of it involves adopting. Some of it involves getting her to get her victims to put her name on the family register. In Japanese, they have a family register where you can actually write your name into the family. Of course, they've got to agree to it, and I guess it involves adoption and marriage and things like that. If you get married or something, your name goes in there. Anyway, it's very confusing. And apparently she's creating some kind of brainwashing network. She's like a superhero, right? And she could brainwash people to do stuff. And the police are still piecing it all together, but it looks like she's been involved in the disappearances of many people for over going back as far as 25 years. Pretty amazing. According to the testimony of people involved in the case, and this is in the way Japanese news works, is people connected, and it's hard to tell who these people are. Are they neighbors? Are they people who are also suspected? Because the weird thing about this woman is that she never got her hands dirty. She never really killed anybody herself or hurt anybody apparently herself. She had thugs. She had what we say kobun. Kobun are like thugs, henchmen or yojimbo, bodyguards, things like that. And she had everyone else do it, including family members of her victims. So she would actually brainwash family members into beating and killing their own family members, like their own parents and stuff like that. It's bizarre. And there's another case over in the first case, of course. Let me repeat: was Amagasaki City. I don't know where that is. There's another place called Takamatsu City. And in the ocean, I'll put notes in the description, and also in the ocean off the coast of Okayama Prefecture. And according to the Hyogo Prefectural Police, it's unavoidable it's going to be a long investigation, a lengthy investigation is going to be unavoidable. Let me give you some of the, let me pause here for a side note. Now, some of the information here I'm giving you is actually from the television, because, that's where you get that's where all geniuses get their information, right? Television. The television has the most savory, juicy gossip, right? So there was a case where she went to a restaurant and she apparently brought a bug, some insect, I think it was a cricket, and threw it into the food. And then she was so insulted that she demanded the owner pay her 200,000 yen, which is about, what is that, about 200,000, about $2,200 or so. And the guy, there's a lot of haggling, and she finally got them down, or he finally got her down, I guess, to 100,000 yen, $1,200 or so. But anyway, so she's that kind of person, she's that kind of person. She intimidates, she bullies, she scares people. Another case is she invited a takoyaki owner to her house. And this is the takoyaki stand she would go to, not stand, but a restaurant she would go to. And she would go in there and she would just buy all the takoyaki. And takoyakis are those little balls, octopus balls. not testicles, but octopus balls. Yeah, I'm sure. Look up takoyaki on the internet if you don't know what they are. I've got a video on it too. They're quite delicious. But anyway, she would go in there and just buy all the takoyaki balls. Like, give me all you got, like 100 at one time, right? So she really liked his food. So she says, let's talk business. Maybe we can do something together. So she invited him over to her house. And he's like, oh, wow, this is a really nice apartment. It's full of really nice stuff. And there's like 3 henchmen, like bodyguards. Like I said, kobun, which is a word we use with mafia, right? She'd be like the oyabun, the boss, and the kobun would be her henchmen. And they were just standing straight in the corner at the door, kind of guarding. And like bodyguards, like yojimbo. And the takoyaki owner's like, I'm sorry. She put down a big spread of sushi. She's like, hey, let's dig in. This is like really expensive sushi. And some sushi can be cheap, like $1 each, but some of it's like 10 or 12 bucks per piece, right? So she had this luxurious spread of sushi, and the takoyaki owner felt uncomfortable eating with these guys just standing there. He says, why don't we ask them to join us because there's so much food here? He's like, screw those guys, forget about those guys. And his impression was it was like a mafia boss, like the oyabun. Anyway, just to give you an idea of what kind of person she is. So she was like a mafia in a way, the way she acted. And so, another side note, he commented on one piece of furniture and he said, that's a beautiful piece. You mind if I look at it, get closer? And she's like, sure, but it cost 100 million yen. Now, if you don't know, 100 million yen is $1.25 million for a piece of furniture. It's like one of these cabinets with glass and stuff, Wow. So, I mean, that's like a house, right? Only it's a piece of furniture. So anyway, that's the kind of person she is. Now, she's accused of one of the big accusations here is she confined and beat people. Okay, confined and beaten. Her victims were confined and beaten. And they use a word here called kankin. And kankin, if you look in the dictionary, it means house arrest. So I was confused. I thought, doesn't that mean house arrest? But it's also used when people don't let people out. Like they lock you into the apartment or the house and say, you can't leave here. So. And let me go back. So on October 13th, just like a week ago or so, well, this must have been last year or something. Must have been last year. On October 13th, following the testimony of friends, acquaintances, blah, blah, they found 3 that said, cops, hey, policemen, there are 3 buried bodies under the floorboards. The Hyogo police started searching a residence in Amagasaki City, in a place called Kajigashi Shima, okay? And between the 14th and 15th, is this year? I guess this is this year. They found 3 bodies buried under the floorboards. All right, so that's the first case I told you about. So get this. Sumida somehow convinced her stepdaughter, I think she adopted a daughter, to, is that what it is? Maybe stepdaughter, some guy she married and that guy's daughter. I don't know. But anyway, stepdaughter, it says stepdaughter, giri. Giri means step. She convinced the stepdaughter to kill her own uncle, a guy named Takashi Tanimoto, and her brother's girlfriend, and this is bizarre, her brother's girlfriend is 71 years old. I mean, I don't know, but I don't know anybody's got a 71-year-old girlfriend of any age. At that age, I think they pretty much give up in Japan. Or in any, and I'm sorry, do you guys know anyone who's got a super old girlfriend or boyfriend? Okay, so the police said that, and yes, this girl, Rui, her stepdaughter's sister also disappeared. And the police say that there's a high possibility that the third body they found, oh yeah, these are the 3 bodies, right? The third body belongs to the stepdaughter's older sister. So wow, so she probably killed her own sister, her uncle, and her brother's girlfriend. And the cause of death, or the shiin, remains unknown. But the police did verify that Takashi, the uncle, had bruises on his head and legs, and according to witnesses, he was beaten, many times on various occasions. And apparently they think he died of weakness, but we don't know yet. And so, like I said, she never got her hands dirty, and she never killed anyone herself, they think. But using like these adopted daughters and the intimidation of the thugs that she has these thugs, right? As we mentioned before, she would target someone. She's like, okay, that guy's got a lot of money. She'd go over there and either ingratiate herself with them at first, or just basically force her way into their lives. and then start intimidating them into following her orders and doing whatever she wanted, which included always, of course, getting money out of them. About 9 years ago in Takamatsu City, remember I mentioned Takamatsu City? Sumida forced her way into Rui's house. This is when she got the adopted daughter. And she had her bodyguard, this Korean guy. He's a Korean bodyguard. A lot of Japanese on the internet will say, oh, Koreans are doing all the crimes. Well, there are, I suppose, Koreans involved in the mafia. I wouldn't say, you know, but I mean, it's silly just to blame the Koreans and Chinese because, I'm sorry, but Japanese commit crimes too. Okay. Anyway, this Korean guy, he happened to be Korean. His name is Lee Masanori. He's 38 years old, and he's currently serving time now for disposing of a body or leaving a dead body. Sometimes the police here, when they can't pin a murder on someone, they'll get someone on just leaving the body. They can prove that at least, maybe they can't prove he killed him, but they can prove that he abandoned the body. So, using Lee Masanori's muscle, he's 30 years old. She beat and threatened her parents and was able to extort 20 million yen from them, which is $250 million. $250 million. That's amazing, huh? Wow. The bodyguard is now in jail. I said that. He's in jail for disposing of body. So, Rui's grandmother, missing, 87 years old, missing. Well, you think just let her die in peace, 87 years old. All her savings and pension, about $50,000, not that much money, I guess. You know, thinking she's 87, you think she'd have more. I hope I have more when I have 87. All of this was withdrawn from her oldest living son's bank account, and he's 69. So these are old people. A lot of these victims are old. So she was apparently, yeah, so, and Sumida, the suspect, the mastermind, you know, superwoman brainwashing, she was living with this guy for a little while. And witnesses say, the neighbors say he was always trying to escape, like get away from her, but she was always dragging him back. And we're not done yet. There's more suspicious incidents. In another case, Sumida is also suspected of killing a guy named Kazuko Oe. Woman, Kazuko Oe, in Kobe. And her body was found November 2011. She was arrested for that, and they were about to start trying the case. But then these other bodies came up. They started connecting the dots, and the prosecutor said, well, let's put a hold on this court case, and let's start looking into this. Because there's more. Obviously, there's more here. So, after following a year-long covert operation, or covert investigation, they were able to gather evidence and testimony implicating the Sumida in the deaths and disappearances of multiple victims. So she is a serial killer, and always she's like a Manson, right? Like she got other people to do it. She terrorized people into committing crimes, and they said they were all like telling the police, if I didn't do it, I was afraid I would be killed next. Yeah. Okay, so as I was saying before we got interrupted here, Sumida terrorized other people into committing crimes for her, including her stepdaughter and her stepsister. She got her stepsister to rob her own husband, and then he mysteriously fell off a cliff. People think, I think they made it look like suicide. And that's in Okinawa 17 years ago. So they're looking into that, and they're looking into who got the insurance money. Of course, it was Miyoko. That was 10 million yen, or $125 million. So, how many people do you have to kill? How much money do you need? It's really a bizarre case. And the police, they're looking back and going, well, that was kind of an unnatural death. That was Fushizen. That's kind of an unnatural death. So they're looking into that. So I'm sure you'll probably see more of this in the future. But for those of you who are interested, there's a Japanese link to the Japanese article in the description. If I find an English one, or if you find one, please let me know. I'll add it to the description. And I'll also add my loose English translation and a few vocabulary words for those of you studying Japanese. My name is Victor. Thanks for watching. If you like this, if you want more of this, or, you help me out here, subscribe, comment, rate, and all that stuff. I do a lot of work here, though I get a lot out of it too. So, but if you want to do me a favor and subscribe and all that crap, go ahead and do that. Don't let me send the oyabun after you, or the kobuns either. Yeah, we don't want either of those after you. All right, see you later.